Fiction gives us the ability to fantasize and escape the reality for a moment. But what if the two combine? Angels and Demons is a fiction that centers around real life places, historical stories, artifacts, and many more. Now, you want to hear the story? Worry not, for I have prepared it for you. So, the story of Angels and Demons begins with Robert Langdon receiving calls and faxes from a mysterious man claiming that they had something that would interest Langdon. Langdon met Maximilian Kohler, the director of CERN, there. Kohler showed Langdon the body of Leonardo Vetra, branded with an ambigram Illuminati. Langdon also met Vittoria Vetra, Leonardo Vetra's daughter. Kohler asked Vittoria if her father and her were working on a project that was so important worth killing Leonardo Vetra. Reluctantly, Vittoria answered that they were working on a project to uncover the building block of this universe, the antimatter, the God particle. Langdon and Vittoria immediately went to Vatican City and met Commander Olivetti, the head of Swiss Guard. They came to Vatican City just an hour before the Vatican conclave began. The Pope recently had passed away, and the Vatican was holding Il Conclavo, the Vatican conclave, to elect the new Pope. The great elector for the conclave is Cardinal Morzazzi. At the Swiss Guard headquarters, Vittoria and Langdon were shown the antimatter from a video of a security camera. They had no idea where it was. Olivetti wasn't sure whether to take this antimatter problem seriously or not. Vittoria insisted that this antimatter was highly combustible and could vaporize the entire Vatican City when the countdown on the canister holding the antimatter reached zero. Then Vittoria called the Camerlengo, the late Pope Chamberlains, behind Olivetti's bed. A phone call came in when they were arguing about the problems. The caller claimed to be the messenger of Illuminati. He said that he would kill all the preferiti hour by hour, one by one. Then the stolen antimatter would be detonated right at midnight. The caller gave warning that the Illuminati would seek revenge. Langdon said that he could locate all the preferiti and the antimatter by following clues left by the Illuminati. Camerlengo ordered Olivetti to assist Langdon and Vittoria in their search for the preferiti and the antimatter. First, Langdon headed to the Vatican's archives to look for clues. He found it and followed to the first place that he thought would be the murder place. After looking the place thoroughly, they couldn't find the murderer. Turned out it was the wrong place. Langdon interpreted the clues falsely. Then they rushed to the right place just to find out that the first preferiti, Cardinal Ebner of Germany, had been murdered and branded with an ambigram earth. Langdon and Vittoria, accompanied by Olivetti and the Swiss Guard, followed the clues again and went to the suspected murder place. They were having a hard time looking for the murderer because it was a public place with lots of people. The murderer managed to get away once again and left his victim, the second cardinal, dying in the hand of Langdon and Vittoria. The both, along with Olivetti and Swiss Guard, tried to keep the cardinal alive, but their effort was pointless. He was branded with an ambigram heir. The second preferiti, Cardinal Lamasse of France, was murdered. Losing the second preferiti, Langdon and Vittoria went back to Vatican City. Langdon tried solving the clues to find the third murder place, while Vittoria and Camerlengo tried to find proof that the Pope was murdered by the Illuminati. Langdon went to the archive once more, while Vittoria and the Camerlengo went to the Pope's tomb. By the time they got back, Langdon had found out where the third murder would take place. They rushed to the third murder place quickly and found the cardinal hanging above fire. Langdon and Vittoria went inside the place to check. Olivetti went the other way. Langdon found the third preferiti, Cardinal Guidera of Spain, burned alive and branded with an ambigram fire. Vittoria tried to look around the suspicious place. She found out that Olivetti had been murdered, hanged up with his head twisted backwards. Back in the Vatican City, at Sistine Chapel, Camerlengo decided to break the conclave and inform all the cardinal that there was antimatter with capability of destroying Vatican City in a matter of seconds, planted somewhere inside. Langdon now had two objectives: finding the last Preferity and Vittoria. Langdon followed the clues and got to the murder place ahead before the assassin. He waited, and by the time the assassin arrived, he confronted him. The assassin managed to hold back and let go of Langdon, and also murdered the last Preferity, Cardinal Baggia of Italy. Langdon tried to follow the assassin to the Illuminati's lair, the last stop of the clues he had followed. He expected that Vittoria could be in there. Langdon just arrived at the Illuminati's lair and sought for Vittoria. He met the assassin and fought him once more. He got help from Vittoria, who was held captive by the assassin. The two managed to fight the assassin and beat him. Then they both went back to Vatican City immediately. They met with Captain Roger then and demanded to see Camerlengo immediately. They suspected that Kohler, who went to Vatican City to brand and murder Camerlengo because Kohler was suspected as the man who hired the assassin. They rushed to the papal office, where the meeting between Kohler and Camerlengo occurred. When they got there, they found out that the Camerlengo had been branded with some symmetrical square brand. Kohler stood there without moving. Then they fired at Kohler. Camerlengo also pointed to Captain Roger while yelling Illuminatus. Lieutenant Chartrand, that was escorting all of them, fired 3 shots at Roger, killing them. Then Camerlengo ordered to evacuate the cardinals. On the way outside, Camerlengo suddenly knew where the antimatter was. He rushed back to the chapel. Both Langdon and Vittoria, along with Gunther and his camera woman, followed Camerlengo. The Camerlengo rushed to the St. Peter's tomb just under the chapel. They found the antimatter there, just like the Camerlengo believed. They tried to convince Camerlengo that there was no time and they needed to evacuate as soon as possible. Without hesitation, Camerlengo snatched the antimatter and rushed to the outside, went to a chopper that had been waiting for them. Camerlengo ordered all men that were in the chopper and went inside. Langdon also went inside. The two then soared up to the sky, tried to get up as high as possible, but when the time almost ran out, the Camerlengo unexpectedly left Langdon in the chopper and jumped out, as there was only one parachute. Desperate to jump, Langdon took anything that he could use as a parachute, then immediately jumped. They both separated in mid-air. Camerlengo landed near the Sistine Chapel, while Langdon nowhere near there. Camerlengo got immediate treatment at the chapel, and Langdon was brought to some nearby hospital. However, it was Langdon that was united with the cardinals first. Langdon told the cardinals that he received a recorder from Kohler and requested the cardinals to watch it. What the recorder had surprised the cardinals. Turned out it was Camerlengo all along. He branded himself and ordered the assassin to brand and murder the Preferity. Kohler knew the plot the Camerlengo was playing and tried to uncover it by recording the Camerlengo secretly. Camerlengo, who didn't realize it, telling all his plot to Kohler. It was a revelation for the cardinals because the cardinals tried to elect Camerlengo as the Pope earlier. By the time Camerlengo arrived at the Sistine Chapel, the cardinals had been waiting for him to explain himself. He explained that Leonardo Fetra, after creating the antimatter, came to meet him and the Pope to seek some spiritual guidance. The Pope was intrigued and wished that the creation should be announced to the world immediately, but Camerlengo disagreed with the Pope. Then the Pope told Camerlengo that he once fathered a child. The Camerlengo was furious at the time and decided to free the Pope's soul by killing him using his own medicine. Cardinal Mortati explained to Camerlengo that the child the Pope once fathered was Camerlengo himself. Couldn't face the truth, Camerlengo fled to the chapel and went to the roof, burned himself up on the roof. Well, That's pretty much how the story goes for Angel and Demons. It intertwines fictions and reality so well that reading the story is basically learning history, though not all are historically correct. So overall, the story dwells deep into the history of church and just still manages to fantasize and a story about it. Well, that's the end of the story. Thank you for watching.